Let's talk about the Rockets, because earlier today they introduced their two newest first-round draft picks, Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore. This was Amen Thompson on what he thinks of Cam Whitmore's game.
Cam, super athletic, good shooter, can really break somebody down off the dribble. I say he's like a freight train, to be honest. Like, even if you stay in front of him, he put you in the paint, dunk on you, great second jump. He was at the top of my board, so.
Look, he's right, man. I'm getting more and more excited about this Cam Whitmore pick by the second. And if you're looking for something to watch to hype you up about Cam Whitmore, go watch some highlights from when he played with the U.S. under-18 national team. Now, there were some questions about his passion and effort at times at Villanova. I know we talked about some of those reports on Friday as reasons for why Cam Whitmore might have fallen all the way to number 20. But, man, if you go watch him and what he did with Team USA, you didn't see any of that. He was the tournament MVP. He led us to the gold medal. He scored 30 points in the championship game, and this team was loaded with talent with some of the best guys who were freshmen in all of college basketball last season. He is a ridiculously good athlete. I mean, some of the dunks he was throwing on dudes, Amen Thompson in line. He's not exaggerating the freight train. He's not exaggerating with the athleticism and the talk about the second jump. This dude is just a ridiculous athlete who I think is going to be special here with the Rockets. And, he had good talent around him with Team USA. Last year at Villanova, he did not. Like, I'll always wonder what Cam Whitmore would have looked like if he had Jay Wright as his coach, right? I mean, Kyle Neptune did not do a great job last season at Villanova. It was his first year taking over for the program, and Villanova had its worst team in a long, long time. I'll always wonder, and we'll never know, but in an alternate universe, what Cam Whitmore would have been with a good coach and better talent around him. I think with a good coach, what the Rockets clearly have with Ime Udoka and good talent around him, which the Rockets are clearly building right now, I don't think you're going to have any questions about this guy's mentality, his work ethic, and his passion. I'm super excited to see what he's going to do for this team.
I also wonder, too, from just a role fit, at Villanova, maybe he was cast a little bit more into creation, locomotive type thing. He's initially going to be a support type of player for this team that fills a very specific role and a role that he's very capable of achieving in, and maybe casting him in a better role maximizes his skills a little bit better. And as you mentioned, some better teammates around him and some creators around him, that could go a long way in improving what he can be as an NBA player.
So that was Amen on Cam. Here's Cam on a men's game.
I'll say, same thing. Tall guard, that's already rare, like in the NBA right now. So modern day NBA player, tall athlete, jump out the gym, raise on somebody, athletic finisher, can just, pretty do much like everything on the floor, to be honest. Defend, rebound, handles the ball pretty well. So, pretty much everything.
If you look at the scouting reports for both guys the Rockets took, like one of the first words you see in pretty much everyone is athlete, athletic. They got a lot of the guys on that team, and now it's about Ime Udoka being able to develop their talent and the Rockets to be, Rockets being in position to be a much better team this year and starting to really compete going forward.
Pretty worried about Thompson's shooting, but at the same time, it's sort of the same conversation with Cam Whitmore. If you put Amen Thompson in a bunch of situations where he's got to knock down a bunch of big shots for you on the outside, you're probably miscasting him. You're not maximizing what he's doing, and you're not using him in the best way. But Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, even Şengün with his ability to hit some shots. Like if those guys are making the shots and certainly making up from the outside, then Amen Thompson, you're not worried about the shooting as much.
Yeah, look, Amen Thompson talked about it today, and he's talked about it a couple of times since the Rockets drafted him last Thursday. He's going to get with the Rockets shooting coach and really put a lot of effort on fixing that shot. This is not a Ben Simmons type of situation. I think Amen Thompson has a better shot entering the league than Ben Simmons did, number one. Number two, it sort of feels like Ben Simmons completely neglected that part of his game. He just didn't care. He was focused on the other stuff, and then, he started to focus on stuff away from basketball. But Amen Thompson, I think, is going to put in the work to try to improve his shot the best that he can. He's never going to be a knockdown three-point shooter in this league, but I think he's got a chance to make sure that that's not a liability. The thing is about Amen Thompson, even when, at times last year in Overtime Elite, when opposing defenders were sagging off of him a little bit, he was still able to blow by guys and get to the lane and create for himself and for others. So even if at the start of his career, if he doesn't have that shot and teams aren't having to go all the way out behind the three-point line to guard him, he's still going to find a way to create for his teammates and also create for himself. So, yeah, I mean, Cam Whitmore's right. There's a lot to like about his game. He does a lot of different things really, really well, but the potential is absolutely through the roof with this kid, too.
One of the more intriguing exchanges during this press conference today was a reporter's question to Rafael Stone about rookie playing time. We had the full exchange. Listen to it, and then we'll tell you why this is significant, and it feels a lot different than what the Rockets have been the last couple of years.
Rafael, you've looked at this offseason as moving from phase 1 to phase 2 in the rebuild. During phase 1, your top rookies, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., basically played 30 minutes per game immediately. How much does that change, if at all, now that you're going to phase 2 with more of an emphasis on winning next season?
I think you mispronounced Ime's name.
Oh, Ime Udoka.
No, I'm just saying that's a question for him, not me. I try and find him, and then I hand him over, and it is his job to allocate who plays and how.
So think about some of the reports last season that Stone was involved in practices with Silas, basically dictating which players should play X amount of minutes. That question gets asked to Stone. Stone, recognizing the perception, what it is, what I just outlined, immediately tries to deflect it and be like, well, we have Ime now. This is now all Ime Udoka. This is him doing it.
It's a good job by Stone. I have to imagine that it's a combination of Ime Udoka making it clear, either very clear in exact words or around the topic, that you're not going to tell me who to play now that I'm here. And I got to imagine that it's also Rafael Stone realizing that, yeah, me showing up at practice telling people how to coach the team, probably not a good look.
You guys are bearing the lead. Amen Thompson is way funnier than Rafael Stone. And they both tried to crack a joke today, and Amen Thompson's was actually hilarious and generated a laugh from the crowd, and Rafael Stone's joke generated a laugh from Rafael Stone, and Rafael Stone alone.
It kind of was like an awkward, embarrassed laugh, like, I'm going to try and use this opportunity here to not align myself with who plays how many minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't very funny, but the underlying point is absolutely right. Like, Rafael Stone should not have any impact and any say on playing time. Like, that's Ime Udoka's job. That should have been Steven Silas's job the last couple of years, but Ime Udoka, obviously more qualified, more skins on the wall, a more credible coach. He absolutely should have 100% say in his rotations and how many minutes guys are getting from day one. So I hope Rafael Stone is true to his word. I expect him to be true to his word. And sorry for a Texans comparison here, but I think of year one with Nick Caserio and David Culley and the whole headset conversation that we talked about a lot. No way in hell Nick Caserio is going to get to dictate what happens with D'Amico Ryans on the sideline through a headset. Same thing with Rafael Stone. Yeah, Steven Silas, first-time head coach, a guy in over his head, maybe not super qualified to get this job and to have this job. Okay, yeah, the GM's going to meddle a little bit more. With Ime Udoka, there's no chance. I mean, like you said, Cody, Udoka probably told Stone, like, hey, this is not happening. But the hope is Stone is smart enough to realize that, no, I brought this guy in for a reason. I'm going to let him do his job, and I'm going to stay out of his way because that's the best situation for this team.
So this was Udoka answering that question that originally was asked to Rafael Stone.
To your point, a lot of time and positions and, those things have been given, so to speak, with the young guys. It'll be changes now, like you said, phase two. We're adding some more young pieces, but also adding the veterans. So I think just that alone will kind of raise the level of competition. Nothing is handed out anymore, as well as myself and the new staff coming in. We've kind of stressed that to the guys. And so for us, it's just adding the right pieces, raising the whole level of the organization. I think those veterans will help, but we love the young, talented guys, and it's a balance. It might not be the starter or the finisher. It's how can we balance the lineups out with the guys we add, and some guys will play different roles than they have been, but I think we have high character guys that are all used to winning and trying to get on that level, and so they'll do what they have to do to sacrifice for the team, but it is phase two, and we're looking forward to taking the big step.
I think that's the right answer you want to hear, and when Ime Udoka says it, it lends a lot more credence than if someone who's never been a head coach before is saying that. When Udoka's saying it, he's got a track record to fall back on. I know it's only 1 year as a head coach in Boston, but he benched guys in Boston that first year when they were not playing well, when they were not playing defense. This guy learned from Greg Popovich. This guy's been around stars before, so he seems to be the right guy to handle this opportunity because there's a lot of talent on this team. It's young, but there's also not enough roster spots for everyone to play at the same time.
No doubt.
So Udoka's got to be true to what he says there, and if he is, that's good for the Rockets going forward.
Agreed. Nothing is handed out anymore. That's the part of that quote that stood out to me. The Rockets need a culture change, and I think Udoka's going to bring it.